Hello, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Miguel de Jesus Santizo Vázquez from Language School in Tapachula, Chiapas. From second trimester, I'm Group A. Today, I'm going to explain you and I'm going to show you some concepts about linguistics. I'm going to work with a conceptual model when we are going to find different concepts about linguistics. As a concept of linguistics, we can find meaning, canon of linguistics, purposes of linguistics, classification of linguistics that we can find microlinguistics and macrolinguistics, and the difference between grammatical language versus linguistics. We start with the definition of linguistics. Hi, hello, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Miguel de Jesus Santizo Vázquez. Hi, hello, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Miguel de Jesus Santizo Vázquez from Language School in Tapachula, Chiapas. From second trimester, I'm Group A. Today, I'm going to explain you and I'm going to show you some concepts about linguistics. I'm going to work with a conceptual model when we are going to find different concepts about linguistics. As a concept of linguistics, we can find meaning, canon of linguistics, purposes of linguistics, classification of linguistics that we can find microlinguistics and macrolinguistics, and the difference between grammatical language versus linguistics. We start with the definition of linguistics. Linguistics is a scientific or system, a study of human language, which it describes its system, internal structure, and social functions. In linguistics, we can find three canons that are the first is exactness, that we can use when we use relevant materials to give an educated investigation about linguistics. The next is consistency. Consistency, there shouldn't be a contradiction between different parts of the total statements. And economic means that we find a statement that are shortest possible that others which we can account much fully for all facts. And the linguistics have a subject matter that principle it studies human language, natural language, living or death. As I am mentioning before, linguistics has purposes. Nature of linguistics. This purpose is based on the study of nature of language to establish a new theory and describe in the light of theories established. It is to say that it makes a new theory and it needs to describe it. The second purpose is form of language. In this purpose, linguistics examines all the forms of language to fulfill the needs and functions in human life. For example, we use the language to make our necessities, okay? And we can find the differs on grammar. For example, is to say that linguistics have different with traditional grammar. In traditional grammar, we can find that in 20th century has a new concept that is prelinguistics. That prelinguistics is a product of research that are based on grammar or Latin or Greek language. In linguistics, we can say that is based on descriptive in nature, where we can find the use of learning models and the property of written language. The differs on grammar are based on described language, spoke language, and learning models. As I mentioned in the video, we can find two classifications about linguistics: macrolinguistics and microlinguistics. In microlinguistics, we can find all branches of linguistics. For example, we have phonetics. Phonetics is the study of speech sounds. Is to say that in my language we have the word aya, and the rest of the people said aiga. Phonetics has an important role here because studies the correctly and incorrectly pronunciation of the words. The next is phonology. Phonology is the study of how speech sound functions. It's to say that we have the word aya. Phonology teaches that the correctly pronunciation of that word. Morphology is the study of formation new words, according with root words as prefixes and suffixes. For example, in English we have the word sun, and we can make new words according to that word. For example, sunset, sunny, sunrise, and that kind of word we can make new words about and according root words. This next is syntax. Syntax is the study of the structure of sentences. When we are learning new language, our teacher tell us that we have to follow some rules to make accurately sentences. For example, when I start learning English, I didn't know that I had to follow rules. For example, first we have subject, second we have verb, and third we have complement. If I don't use that word, I I wouldn't make accurately sentences. I don't. I can say both I yesterday. It's it's a incorrectly word and incorrectly sentences. Here, syntax study the correct rules to make a new sentences. Semantics. Semantics is the study of linguistic meanings. For example, when we are learning a new language, we don't know a lot of words. For example, if I don't know the word pen, I'm going to ask my teacher what is the meaning, and the teacher tell us, okay, pen is an object which you can use when you write. That is the meaning of that word. Here, semantics study the meaning of the word. Pragmatics. Pragmatics. Pragmatic is a study of language in use. For example, in English we have the word book. It can use by as a noun and as a verb. Okay. Pragmatics here studies the context that when you make a new sentence. For example, the word book, we can say, oh, hi, we have we have pragmatics. Pragmatic is a study of language in use. For example, in English, we have the word book. Book, we can use it as a noun and as a verb. We can use it like this. Yesterday, I bought a new book, and this is as a noun. And as a verb, we can say, yesterday, I booked my flight. As a verb is synonym of rent. Pragmatic study the context and how we use that word. as I was telling you, we can find two classification of linguistics. The first is microlinguistics, where we can find all the branches of linguistics, and the second is macrolinguistics. In macrolinguistics, we can find hybrid disciplines that have a relation in linguistics. For example, we have sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is a study of how social factors influence in the structure and the use of the language. We have psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics is a study of the manifestation of language. Is to say that the process and the structure that we have to cross when we are understand a new word and even the language. Neurolinguistics is a study of language processes and how we can represent that word in our minds. For example, when I heard the word pen, I have some possibles. I can imagine a ball, maybe, and I can imagine a pen. And neurolinguistics study how I represent that word. We have computational linguistics that we can use it in mathematical techniques. It basically is based on we use a computer, we can mix numbers and letters. We have discourses analysis. Discourses analysis is the study of how sentences are spoken and written in language. It's to say that how we can use with a mindful is to say that when we are having a conversation, maybe an interview, we can find and we can say a lot of words. Basically, in interview, you can say mean words, but in a conversation with a friend or maybe as your brothers, you can use and you can say mean words. We have stylistics. Stylistics is the study of how literally affect and relation with linguistics. We have anthropological linguistics that studies the relation between language and culture in a community. The next is connective linguistics. Connective linguistics is the studies of language and the mind that are based on our bodily. Is to say, when I hear a new word, for example, hand, I can use my body to represent that word. For example, this is my hand. I am representing the word with my body, human. And the last one is applied linguistics. Applied linguistics is based on the relation that exists between language and linguistics. When we can find some issues, for example, when we are learning a new language, we have a problem with learning, or maybe when we are teacher, we have a problem teaching.